You know, they're not beating a dead horse here. The Australians are actually really starting to get into the zombie genre there. They made a couple of films. One of them I actually watched recently, and I apologize because I cannot remember the name of it. It's actually on Shudder, but it was about a guy that it doesn't really kind of go into a whole lot of details about the zombies. You just know they're there, and you see the quarantine warnings, and you see the if your family is infected, if somebody in your family is infected, please call, yada yada yada. I guess it's the equivalent of their CDC. And but the guy, his wife ends up getting bit, and they're trying to find a hospital because apparently they have developed some sort of a cure, or at least some sort of vaccine. And she ends up turning at some point, and he has a daughter. They have a baby that he has to trek across the outback with this baby, and he gets bit. So he befriends a small Aboriginal girl, and she tries to get back to her tribe because her tribe is trying to take back the outback. They have found a valley that they hold up in, and they are systematically going out and destroying the dead when they find them. And like I said, by the end, it was really a great film. I was really surprised and pleasantly surprised at how they did it. And so I've been kind of keeping my eye out because the Australians seem like they've got some new ideas there. So, again, it may not be that popular here because, like I said, everybody here is kind of like, oh, we've seen that, we've done that. But I try to give the benefit of the doubt. I try to think, okay, just because we can't pull off a decent movie doesn't mean that, like I said, the Australians or the British or, the Yugoslavians could pull off, something that's fresh and new that we've never seen before.
Well, yeah.
And so, like I said, so far it's been, that's kind of where I rely on a lot of my modern horror fix is from foreign movies and from indie films because they just do such a fantastic job.
Right, and they work on, they work on a budget. Like Ron Fitzgerald tells me a lot of the budgets that they have to make these movies wouldn't even pay for 10 minutes of a normal movie. And yet they can do everything and put everything together. That's what's unique.
And yeah, and there's like so much behind it. I mean, a lot of people think, okay, well, I can use my iPhone and I can, we can get some, crappy latex prosthetics or masks or whatever, and we can make a zombie film. You could do that, but honestly, if you really want to go above and beyond the Call of Duty, you almost need to have some sort of a backer or at least a group of people backing you on this, so you can actually make something that people have never seen before. I was actually writing a novel myself, and been kind of off and on writing it for about a year or two now. Heavily, I guess. And I pride myself in thinking, well, my particular novel is something that, from the zombie standpoint, hasn't been done before. So I'm kind of hoping maybe that eventually, if I get around to ever getting it finished and published, that maybe people can say, okay, we can make a movie out of this, and maybe actually take off running with it and possibly make something out of it. Maybe not. Pipe dreams, but, it's something that I really would hope to eventually accomplish. And, but I mean, for now, I'd just be happy, maybe if somebody wanted to, cast me in some sort of B movie, even as a zombie, I'd be thrilled to death with that.
Now, we only got about a half an hour left here, with the interview. Well, I got to ask you some questions. If somebody wants to get into collecting, okay, like I told you, like I made the mistake and bought, after we first contacted each other, I bought like 3 or 4 masks off of eBay. Now, 2 of them I was really impressed with the money I paid. They were made in Mexico. They really look good. And then I got 2 of them that I look at them, I go, wow, this is like the garbage can.
Yeah, they when it comes to masks, it's it's kind of a gamble if you're trying to really break into it. I mean, I've got hundreds and hundreds of masks that I'm sure that you've seen at least a majority of them, and and strangely enough, though, a lot of people, they say, where, when I buy masks, what should I look for? And whenever I buy older masks, it seems like, of all places, Mexico makes some of the better masks that I've seen. And I actually have a Frankenstein mask that it's a universal mask that was actually made in Mexico. It looks as close to Boris Karloff than if Boris Karloff was standing right in front of me. I mean, it looks so realistic and looks great. It even has that slight green, gray tinge that I would picture Frankenstein having if he was standing, or the creature if he was standing right in front of me. And I was actually looking. I was like, wow, I've had several of these masks, as a kid, and I buy them and sometimes in lots. And I've had a couple here that I'm like, they're made by the same manufacturers, but they were made in different countries. And the other two look nothing alike this one. And I cherish this mask. I mean, it's like probably one of my most favorite, of the Universal Studios monsters. And I always, when I'm out shopping around for masks, I mean, it's really, I like to go to stores and things and actually look at the masks and, see how detailed they are, because when you come to mass-produced masks, especially, and for instance, I'll use this as an example. I bought a Michael Myers mask from Trick or Treat Studios, and it's a fantastic mask. I mean, it fits great. It looks awesome. It's just a really, really great mask. But now I bought another one. And I bought this from a third party, which they sell Trick or Treat Studios masks, but I guess apparently they must get them in bulk, and they get them maybe at a discount. I'm not 100% sure, but it's the exact same mask, except it's got the blood tears from Part 2, where Jamie Lee Curtis shoots Michael Myers there in the eyes. And this mask fits horribly. It looks like I can't really describe it, how it fits. It just fits so weird, but yet it's the same mask. So after doing some research, I found out that a lot of times companies they mass produce them, obviously, so they have, master molds, and then over time, those molds will break down and get stuff on them, and eventually the masks don't become as quality as they were, say, from the first few pulls. So you really have to, find out, as far as like, what generation mask, and again, they don't really do that with these masks these days. They don't put like numbers or, maybe like 500 of 5,000 made. They don't put that on there anymore. So you're really not exactly sure what you're getting with newer masks as opposed to the older ones. So, and I've actually gotten to where I started collecting more from independent mask makers, and people have asked me, when I plan on starting making masks myself again, and it got to be such an expensive hobby when I was younger. I used to save up, my mow yards and birthday money and things. And I would buy latex, and I would, buy the molds and plaster, and, would make my own masks and sculpt them. And it just got to be such an expensive hobby, and it really today still is, but it's, a lot more affordable because I make a lot more money than I did just mowing yards and things. So actually, people have been trying to talk me into making masks again, but I've been kind of talking to some private vendors. And at Scarefest, they had this year they had several mask vendors there that were selling unique pieces I'd never seen before. And I thought these would be a great addition to my collection, because they're obviously great conversational pieces. You think, wow, this is something I've never seen. This is something that people have made that's just off the top of their head. They started out with an idea, they drew it out, they sculpted it, they made the mask, and and here it is. So, but that's something I always try to encourage the owners of Scarefest every year, is to try to get more masks. People that sell masks or make masks in there, and each year they get more people in there, and much to my delight. So I always walk away with usually 6 to 8 masks each time. So
now I got to ask you. I got to ask you a question. Are you married?
Yes.
Now, how's your wife take it when you come home and say, "Hey, yeah, honey, I got 3 or 4 new masks"? What did she do?
Well, it's kind of my thing. She doesn't really say a whole lot about it as far as, you know, I run out of room, and I always end up trying to find more room for them. So I end up, commandeering other parts of the house, and also kind of slowly slip them in there. So, I usually try to find a way to make, create more shelving and try to, again, slip more things in there. So it's like, a lot of people were like, if people could actually see the stuff that I have, they would think Jesus guy's a hoarder. But, I keep everything, put up and strategically placed that it doesn't really look like a whole lot, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, again, I went to subscription boxes, and I've went to, these, I'm sure you've probably heard of Horror Block and Box of Dread.
Oh yeah.
And they have all kinds of neat stuff in there. I mean, like I said the other day, I got a K. Okla radio mug from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and was like, and again, that's one of my probably all time favorite slasher films, and was just thrilled with it because Carolyn Williams actually she actually like handpicked this box. So, and I met her at Scarefest a couple of years ago, and she's just a fantastic lady, and she's so impressionable. And she, it was really surprising because, I just thought, a lot of Hollywood stars, you think they don't have time for us little people, but she was great. And I was so glad that, I actually talked to her on Facebook, and she was like, yeah, I'm actually going to do the next Box of Dread and handpick everything. I thought, this is going to be, phenomenal because I love the movie. And she picked a lot of great stuff. And she even signed my Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 CD, and I actually have it framed up and everything. So, it's just it's the little things that please me like that. And, I just really, I couldn't ask for, to meet some of the better celebrities and things there. But yeah, I mean, it's, like I said, a lot of things I have, it's just unique pieces, and they're great conversational pieces. Cause I mean, it's like, I have it's a, inflatable balloon that's, it's an It balloon. I have an umbrella that's, from Carrie. It's covered in blood.
Oh,
and, which is interesting. I mean, cause she doesn't really carry an umbrella in the movie, but I thought it was kind of an interesting twist, I guess. I have a Jason shower curtain. It's got the silhouette of Jason on it. I've got Freddy pillowcases. It's crazy the stuff they come out with. And a lot of people always compliment me on my shirts because I always tend to wear pretty unique horror shirts and things. And I'm always on the lookout for unique shirts and things that again, I like knowing that nobody else is going to have this shirt. So a lot of times I'll have custom things made. So if you ever come to Scarefest, though, that's one of the things that I do with, is wear different unique shirts. And I have Kane Hodder, Kane Hodder be like, hey, man, that's a cool shirt. And, we'll have, just, a lot of celebrities and things that are there are like, wow, I've never seen that shirt before. It's awesome. And, I'm kind of like, yeah, thank you.
Now I have somebody asking, what do you think of, I guess eBay, according on my chat line too, they're asking about, they go on eBay and they said virtually all the masks are made either in China or Russia.
Yeah. And that's where you have to watch out for like the mass sellers, I guess as I like to call them. I usually try to watch for, there's a little key things that you watch out for when you buy, and this, I mean, really honestly, anything, and Amazon's just as bad anymore. Watch the names. Like, I know whenever I go on Amazon, if I buy something, I have to watch and see what the seller ratings and watch the seller, like the names, because they sound foreign. They don't really sound like, Bob's Discount Masks or, it's like some weird name of maybe possibly a city in China somewhere. It could be possibly where this thing